በመቀጠል የስምንተኛ ክፍል የሒሳብ ትምህርትን እናያለን ማለት ነው። ምዕራፍ 2 ስኩዌር፣ ስኩዌር ሩት፣ ኪዩብ ኤንድ ኪዩብ ሩት የሚለውን ማለት ነው። then the chapter says squares and square root and also cube and cube root. Based on this session, we discussed only squares and square roots. So how to define square and how to define square roots. What do you mean by squares and what do you mean by square roots? How can we calculate the value of squares of a given number and how can we calculate the values of square root of a given number? Squares of rational number. This presentation mainly focus on definitions of squares of rational number. What do you mean by a perfect square? And what is a square of any rational number? So how can we calculate a square of a given rational number? So what do you mean by perfect square? And how can we calculate a squares of a given rational number? ስለዚህ በዚህ ክፍለ ጊዜ የምናየው ምንድነው ማለት ነው? እንዴት ነው ስኩዌርን ዲፋይን ወይም ፍቺ የምንሰጠው ለስኩዌር? ስኩዌር ስንል ጂኦሜትሪ ላይ ያለውን አይደለም። ስኩዌር ቁጥር ላይ ነው፣ ራሽናል ነምበር ላይ ነው። ስኩዌሪንግ is a process of multiplying a number by itself. አንድን ቁጥር በራሱ ስናበዛ የሚለው ነው። ከጂኦሜትሪ ምስል ጋር እንዳታገናኙት። ፐርፌክት ስኩዌር ትክክለኛ የሆነ ደግሞ ስኩዌር ምንድን ነው? ምን አይነት ሲሆን ነው ፐርፌክት ስኩዌር ብለን የምንወስደው? እሱን የምናያለን ማለት ነው። Squares of rational number. Definition. Square of a number. Squares of a number is a process of multiplying a number by itself. That means if a given number multiplied by its own, so we can get the square of that number. So it is a process of multiplying a number by itself. For example, let A is an element of rational number. If we multiply A by itself, A, which is equivalent to A to the power of 2, or we can read as A square. This is a way how to define a square of a number. So it's a process of multiplying a number by itself. So we can read as A square or the square of A. We can say A square or the square of A or A to the power of 2. This is the way how to read A is the power of 2, the same as A square and the same as the square of A. So this is the way how to define squares of a given number and with its own explanation or with its own notification. Example. Find the square value of the following number and write how to read it. So 3 is an element of rational number. If 3 is multiplied by itself, so we can get the square of 3 or 3 is the power of 2. So finally 3 times 3 is 3 square. 3 square means 9. 3 times 3 is 9. So this is a way how to calculate the square of a given number. 4 is an element of rational number. 4 times 4 is 4 square. So this means the process of multiplying 4 by itself. So we can get 16. 16 is the square of 4. See, 5 itself. So we can get 25. So 25 is the value of the square of 5. 9 is the element of rational number. So if we multiply 9 by itself, so we can get 9 square or square of 9. So finally we can get 81. So 81 is the square of 9. The value of the square of 9 is 81. So this is a way how to determine the square of a given number ስለዚህ አንድ የተሰጠንን ቁጥር በራሱ የምናበዛና የምናገኘው ውጤት ማን ብለን እንጠራዋለን? ስኩዌር ብለን እንጠራዋለን ማለት። ስለዚህ አንድ የተሰጠን ቁጥር ለምሳሌ 3 ብትሰጠን 3ን በራሷ 3 ጊዜ 3 ካልን 3 በሁለት አይን እናደርጋለን። ይሄ 3 ስኩዌር ብለን የምንጠራው ነው። 3 ስኩዌር ብለን ነው የምንጠራው። ስለዚህ ይሄ ስኩዌር ቁጥር ደግሞ ዋጋ አለው ማለት ነው። ራሱ ስኩዌር ኦፍ ኤኒ ነምበር ኢዝ from the set of rational number ነው። ስለዚህ 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 5 square is 25 and 9 square is 81. This is the way how to determine the square of a given number. So how to read the square of the following number? So 3 times 3, 3 square as 3 square or the square of 3, or we can say 3 is the power of 2. This is the way how to read it. በዚህ መልኩ ነው የምናነበው ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ 3 ስኩዌር እንለዋለን፣ the square of 3 ብለን እናነበዋለን፣ እንዲሁም the power of 2 ብለን እንጠራዋለን። 3 the power of 2 ብለን እንጠራዋለን ማለት ነው። 4 square, so we can say as 4 square or the square of 4 or 4 to the power of 2. እንደዚህ ብለን እናነባለን ማለት ነው። ለምሳሌ 9 times 9 is 9 square, the square of 9 and 9 the power of 2 has its own value. 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 5 square is 25, and 9 square is 81. So this is the way how to answer the question. Another example, find the square value of the following number. These numbers are fractions. So based on the definition, we can determine the square of the given number. This is 2 to the power of 5. 2 over 5 is given. So multiplying 2 over 5 by itself, so we can get 2 over 5 to the power of 2, or the square of 2 over 5. So the square of 2 over 5 is equivalent to squaring both numerators and denominators. 4 over 25. 4 over 25 is the square of 2 over 5. Second, negative 3 over 4. To calculate the square of the negative 3 over 4, multiply 3 over 4, negative 3 over 4 by itself, by negative 3 over 4. That means negative 3 over 4 square. So multiply numerators and denominators. Squaring numerators and denominators. So negative, there is also a negative sign. Square the negative sign also. Sign product. Negative times negative is positive. So 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16. So the square of negative 3 over 4 is 9 over 16. So this is the way how to square a given fractional number. So what do you mean by perfect square? How can we identify a perfect square from other rational number? For example, if A is an element of rational number and M is an element of rational number, and if A is a perfect square, you see, if A is a perfect square, if and only if A which is equivalent to M square. Now, ምን እያለን ነው? perfect square እንዴት አድርገን ነው የምንለየው? ለምሳሌ ኤ ራሽናል ነምበር ቢሆን ኤምም ራሽናል ነምበር ቢሆን ኤ ፐርፌክት ስኩዌር ነው ብለን ለማለት ይሄንን እውነት ሲያረጋግጥልን ብቻ ነው። የኤ ዋጋ የሁለት አንድ አይነት ቁጥሮች ብዜት ወይም the square of m እኩል ይሆናል ኢኳል ቱ n ከሰጠን ብቻ ነው። ይሄን ካሟላ ኤ ፐርፌክት ስኩዌር ብለን እንጠራለን ማለት ነው። ለምሳሌ እዚህ ጋር 4 ባረግ 2 ስኩዌር፣ ስለዚህ 4 ፐርፌክት ስኩዌር ነች ማለት ነው። ቅድም ያየናቸው 81 9 ስኩዌር ነች አይደል? 9 ስኩዌር is 81 81 is perfect square። እንደዚህ ያለን ፐርፌክት ስኩዌር ቁጥሩ በሆነ አንድ አይነት ቁጥር ለሁለት ተባዝቶ የሚሰጠን ቁጥር ከሆነ ያ ቁጥር በትክክል ፐርፌክት ስኩዌር ነው ብለን እንወስደዋለን። ኤግዛምፕል as we say before, 4 is a perfect square because 4 which is equivalent to 2 the power of 2 or 2 times 2, we can determine the equivalent value of 4 as m square. So the value of m is 2 square. So this is fulfill the definition. That is why 4 is a perfect square. አራት perfect square ነች። ምክንያቱም አራትን በሆነ አንድ አይነት ቁጥር የሁለት አይነት ቁጥር ብዜት አድርገን ማስቀመጥ ስለምንችል እሷም ሁለት to the power of 2 በሁለት አይነት አራት ስለምንችል ስለዚህ አራት ፐርፌክት ስኩዌር ነው ብለን እንወስዳለን። ስለዚህ 9ም ፐርፌክት ስኩዌር ነው ምክንያቱም 9 3 በሁለት 3 ጊዜ 3 አድርገን መጻፍ ስለምንችል 81 perfect square. 81 is a perfect square because 81 is equivalent to 9 square. We can write 81 as a product of two identical number, like 9 times 9 or 9 square. So this is a way how to identify a perfect square from other rational number. በዚህ መልኩ perfect square እንሰራለን ማለት ነው። Existence theorem. For any rational number x, there is a rational number y. Y is greater than 0, such as x squared, which is equivalent to y. This is existence. For every x squared, there is y in the set of rational number, but y is not negative. The square of any number cannot be negative because x can be negative. Negative square is positive. So y cannot be negative number. There is no possibility of y to be negative if value of x is multiplied by itself. So if we check this, so this is the existence theorem. For any number, the square of any number which is equivalent to a fixed number in the set of rational number. So this is the existence of a number in the set of rational number. As x is an element of rational number, x square which is equivalent to y. Y is an element of rational number. We can get the value of y in the set of rational number if we multiply a given number by itself. So this is the existence theorem. ስለዚህ ምን እያለ ነው? አንድ ኤክስ ዋጋ ቢሰጠን ኤክስን ስኩዌር ብናደርጋት የሆነ ቁጥር እናገኛለን ማለት ነው። ከዛ ቁጥር ውጪ ሌላ ልናገኝ አንችልም። አንድ ቁጥር ነው ያለን። የኤክስ ስኩዌር ዋጋ አንድ ነው፣ እሱም ዋይ ነው። ለምሳሌ 4 ነው መሰለኝ። if 4 is an element of rational number, 4 square is 16. We cannot get any number which is different from 16 in the set of rational number to be the square of 4. There is only 16 for the value of the square of 4. So this is the existence of a number in the set of rational number. ስለዚህ ይህ 4 በሁለት ኃይል 16 ነው። ሌላ ሊሆን አይችልም። 4 በሁለት ኃይል 20 ሊሆን አይችልም። 4 በሁለት ኃይል 100 ሊሆን አይችልም። 4 በሁለት ኃይል 16 ብቻ ነው የሚሆነው። ይህ ነው ኤግዚስተንስ ቴርም የምንለው። ስለዚህ ለማንኛውም በተሰጠን ቁጥር ስኩዌሩ የራሱ የሆነ ራሽናል ነምበር ነው የምናገኝለት እንጂ ሌላ ልናገኝ አንችልም ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ 1/4 is an element of rational number. So 1/4 square is equivalent to 1/60. We cannot get any other number. So 1/16 is an element of rational number. -5 is an element of rational number. -5 square is 25. We cannot get any other number. So 25 is an element of rational number. So this is the existence theorem in the set of rational number. Odd numbers have odd squares. For example, we know this formula. This is a symbol for calculating the odd numbers. This is odd formulas. Twice of n plus 1 gives an odd number. n can be the set of natural number. Squaring both sides, squaring both sides, so we can get O square, square this side to n square plus twice of 2n times 1 plus 1 square. So this will be what? 2n square, 4n square plus 4n plus 1. You see, still there is plus 1. If there is plus 1, the number is an odd. So we can write this formula by taking the common factor as 4 and n square plus n plus 1. You see, the same as O, which is equivalent to n plus 1. So this is odd. So we can say that the square of any odd numbers are odd squares. So this is always true. And also, even numbers squares are even. Look, e twice of n, square both sides, 2n square. 2n square is 4, 4n square. 4n square is even. We can use numbers from the set of odd numbers and from the set of even number, and you can check easily. So this is just simply to decide by using their own formula. ፎርሙላቸውን ተጠቅመን ነው ኦድ ቁጥሮችን ስኩዌር ብናደርጋቸው ስኩዌር ቫልዩዋቸው ኦድ ነው። ለምሳሌ 3 ስኩዌር 9 ነው። 5 ስኩዌር 25 ነው። 3 is odd number. The square of 3 is 9. 9 is an element of odd numbers. 2 is even. The square of even is even. 2 square is 4. 2 is even. 4 is even. 6 square. 6 square is 36. 6 is even. 36 also an even. So this is always true. ሁልጊዜ እውነት ነው ማለት ነው። Remember, odd numbers always make up an odd square. As we discussed before, 3 is an odd. 3 square is 9. 9 is an odd rational number. 5 is an odd. 5 square is 25. 25 is odd numbers. 7 is odd integer. 7 square is 49. 49 is an odd integer. So we can decide like this. Odd integer have odd squares. So this is the expression of odd, the square of odd formula. Finally, we can get as 4 n square plus n plus 1. So this is always true. Second, even numbers always make up uneven squares. We discussed before. So 2 is even. 2 square is 4. 4 is uneven. 4 is uneven. 4 square is 16. 16 is an element of even integer. 6 is uneven. 6 square is 36. 36 is an even integer. አያችሁ ኦድ ቁጥር ስኩዌር ስናደርጋቸው የምናገኘው ቁጥር ኦድ ነው። ስኩዌራቸው ኦድ ነው ማለት ነው። ኢቭኖችንም ስኩዌር ስናደርጋቸው ውጤታቸው ኢቭን ቫልዩዋቸው ስኩዌሩ ራሱ ኢቭን ነው ማለት ነው። ይሄ ሁልጊዜ እውነት ነው። ስለዚህ ኢቭን ነምበርስ ስኩዌርስ አር ኢቭን ሂንስ twice of n square is 4n square. 4n square is even. This is always true. ይሄ ሁልጊዜ እውነት ነው ማለት ነው። ኦድን ስኩዌር ስናደርግ ኦድ ነው የምናገኘው። ኢቭንንም ስኩዌር ስናደርግ ኢቭን ነው የምናገኘው ማለት ነው። Square numbers are always positive. When we square a number, always the value, the square value is positive. If it is negative, if we square the negative number, it is positive also. That is why when two negative signs are multiplied by one another, the square of negative number is positive, the square of positive number is positive. Example, -3 is negative rational number. So squaring means the process of multiplying a number by itself. So -3 times -3 is -3 square. So it is 9. 9 is positive. You see? አያችሁ? ኔጌቲቭ ቁጥር ስኩዌር ስናደርግ ፖዚቲቭ ነው የምናገኘው። ስኩዌር ቫልዩ the square value of a number, the square of a number is positive. Negative 5 also, it is a rational number from the set of negative rational number. When we square, we can get positive value. 25 is the square value of minus 5. So this statement is true, always true. If we take positive, we can accept. Always the square of positive numbers positive, but we can check just simply by taking the negative number. The negative, the square of minus 8, minus of minus 8 is 64. You know the reason. Minus minus is plus. Negative square is positive. Sign product. Negative times negative is always positive. So negative square is positive. ዜም ኔጌቲቭ ስኩዌር ብናደርገው ፖዚቲቭ ስለሚሰጠን ይህ አገላለጽ ሁልጊዜ እውነት ነው ማለት ነው። የማንኛውም ቁጥር ስኩዌር ሁልጊዜ ፖዚቲቭ የሚሰጠን ማለት ነው። ሪቪዥን ዛሬ ምን ተማርን? በዚህ ትምህርት ክፍለ ጊዜ ምን አወቅን? ስኩዌር ኦፍ ኤ ነምበር። ሶ ስኩዌር ምንድን ነው? ስኩዌር is a process of multiplying a number by itself. That is a times a is a square. Next, what is perfect square? To be a perfect square, there is m square in the set of rational number, which is equivalent to a. So if the condition fulfills like this, number a is said to be a perfect square. For example, 4 is a perfect square because 4 is, which is equivalent to times 2. 2 square is 4. So 4 is a perfect square. So we discussed also in existence theorem. There is y for each and every value of x which is multiplied by itself. We can get the value of y. There is a unique y for the square of x in the set of rational number. This is the existence theorem. So ይሄንን ያየ ነው ማለት ነው። እንዴት ነው ስኩዌር የምናደርገው? ቁጥር አንድን ቁጥር በራሱ ስናበዛ የምናገኘው ወይም ሂደቱ ስኩዌሪንግ ይባላል። ወይም ስኩዌር ኦፍ ኤ ነምበር ኢዝ ኤ ፕሮሰስ ሂደት ነው። አንድን ቁጥር በራሱ ማብዛት የምንወስደው ነው። ሁለተኛው ፐርፌክት ስኩዌር ነው ያለው። ፐርፌክት አንድ ቁጥር ፐርፌክት ስኩዌር እንዲሆን በራሽናል ነምበር ውስጥ ሁለት ተመሳሳይ ቁጥሮች ተባዝተው እሱን የሚሰጥ ቁጥር አንድ ስላለ ነው ማለት ነው። ያንን ካሟላ ያ ቁጥር ፐርፌክት ስኩዌር ብለን እንወስደዋለን። ኤግዚስተንስ ቴረም ለሚወስድ ነው። ለሆነ ኤክስ ስኩዌር ለሆነ ቁጥር ማለት ነው። የሆነ ቁጥር ከሴት ኦፍ ራሽናል ነምበር ስኩዌር ብናደርገው የሆነ ዋይ ዋጋ ሌላ ሳይሆን አንድ የሆነ የዋይን ዋጋ የሚተካ ቁጥር ከራሽናል ነምበር ውስጥ እናገኛለን ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ሌላ አይኖርም፣ አንድ ነው ያለው ማለት ነው። ያ ነው ኤግዚስተንስ ቴረም ተብሎ የሚወሰደው ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ so based on this session, let's answer the following question. What do you mean by squaring a number? How can we read this determination? Number 3, find the square value of the following number. A, B, C, and D. How can we calculate the square of a given number? Which of the following is not a perfect square? There are some listed numbers. Try to identify which numbers are perfect and which numbers are not perfect square. So based on the explanation of perfect square, try to identify the perfect square and which is not a perfect square. So based on this, try to answer the following question. Thank you for listening this tutorial. Thank you. Try to share, subscribe this tutorial. Thank you for listening me. Thank you.